Hello, beautiful Heaven, and be here on a live with you all. I really felt inspired worth and worthiness because we don't understand that as empaths, this is an endemic issue and problem for everyone blessed with these special gifts. And the reason why this is because our innate worth is something that we are educated upon according to everyone else's perception of us while we're young. So because we are so susceptible to the perceptions that other people have of us, it really, really does impact our own self-view according to how we're being perceived. Now, if you were surrounded by loving, nurturing, open-hearted, honest individuals, then they would have reinforced how beautiful and valuable and innately precious you are. What I really love remembering is that not all of us had circumstances like that. I certainly didn't. And I really love speaking out about how I've been able to find a sense of self-worth and worthiness despite feeling worthless for many, many decades. What happens when we feel worthless is that we bow out from blessings and opportunities. We actually turn away from people who are nourishing and loving because it confuses us as to why they would actually be kind and generous to us. We actually stall our own progress with our learning or our career, and we often retreat into isolation. Now, as you can imagine, these are all the very opposite things that we don't want to do. So we don't want to move away from fortuitous opportunities that come towards us. Often we pray and chant and chime and sing and affirm to actually have blessings come to our lives. But when they show up, if we don't have that sense of worth and worthiness, we're actually going to avoid that situation. Okay. And so I wanted to speak out about this because I'm really, really passionate. And there are so many really, really powerfully gifted, enormously valuable individuals who feel completely worthless, who are tempted to or do take their own lives, and who keep themselves really small and isolated for fear of their unworthiness, but they actually deny themselves the privilege of ever having that opinion or perspective changed. So welcome to those who are live. It's so nice to have a few people here. I can't actually see who you are, but if you'd love to ask me a question, please go ahead and ask me a question. I want to be doing more lives because I really love connecting with other gentle, gifted hearts like me. What happens when I start to feel worthless? Yes, this still comes up in my life today. Nice to see you, Jenna. Is that I turn to people that I love and trust to share my feelings, so I'm honest about them, and I turn to people that I love and trust, and they actually reinforce. Rajan, so nice to have you here. So if you are an empath, if you're somebody that can feel the feelings of other people in your own body, this gift goes far beyond feeling what other people feel. A better way to describe being an empath is that the heart, the physical heart that's in your body, is also a representation of the spiritual heart that you have. Now, our spiritual heart resides in the same area, and it's actually a beacon of light and love that has the capacity to connect with other hearts. Now, what this means is that we have access to soul connections. And my whole life I've been blessed to be able to connect with people on a soul level. And what I really love about that is that I can feel how other people feel in their body. I can feel their feelings, but I also can hear their thoughts in my own mind. And I can actually perceive how they think and feel about themselves. Okay, now that last point is really, really important if you're an empath, because what I want you to understand is that your empath ability means that you can perceive other people's self-perception and how others perceive you. Now, this is often how our own identity is formed, based on how other people perceive us. And so if it's lovely to see you, Christelle. Nice to know you're here, darling. If our own identity is based on how other people perceive us, then their wounding and their wounded perception of themselves and their wounded perception of us becomes the basis for our self-perception. So I really want to emphasize that worthiness is a core issue for all empaths. If you've ever felt like there's something wrong with you, if you ever feel bad for no reason, if you ever feel like a waste of space and that there's no point you being here, this is common self-talk for empaths. I've been serving empaths for 9 years now, and while I've worked in different areas as a life coach and in eating disorders and emotional healing and now mentoring, what I know is that all empaths fundamentally struggle with their own self-perception because we are capable of perceiving how other people perceive us. So what I really want you to do is anytime that you are feeling worthless or unlovable or unworthy, I really want you to think about going to somebody that you trust, that you know loves you, and actually voicing these concerns. Now, for me in my life, there was a period of many years where I actually didn't have anybody like that. I didn't actually have somebody that I could trust, that I can open my heart to, and that could reassure me with love and kindness. When I didn't have anybody that I knew, I prayed. And so if you don't actually have loving, supportive, nurturing people in your life, and you do have some degree of faith or belief, whomever you believe in, I do want to advocate and encourage you to pray and speak to the angels or the guides, the ancestors, the fairies, the gnomes, nature itself, anything or anyone whom you know hears and loves you, so that you can actually take those concerns to somebody outside of yourself and hear a loving perception from somebody else. And for me, my husband is incredibly loving and nourishing and reassuring. And when I feel like a worthless burden to everybody else on the planet, he reminds me how precious and valuable I am. And I want to pay that forward today. I want to send it out to you. And I want you to hear from me that you just being who you are is so incredibly precious, so incredibly valuable. And it's really normal and natural for all empaths to question their worth. Now, I never presume that I'm not going to question my worth, but when I do from time to time, I know what I can do if that happens for me. And I just want to encourage you to have a plan of action if that happens, that you either pray or you just speak to somebody. So what I want to do is just have a couple of minutes of questions. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, or if there is a heart reading that you would like me to do to explain a situation for you, I can read the hearts of anyone, anywhere. I only do so with your permission. So if you would like me to do a heart reading for you here and now, I can do that. I can help you to understand how you're feeling, what you're feeling, and why you're feeling that way, and give you a practical steps so that you can help yourself. So if you want that or you have a question, go ahead and ask me, because if we don't feel safe, if we don't feel worthy of being, we can't perform our sacred role. And empaths are here in order to witness others, to be loving and compassionate. And we're here to really honor the truth that we can perceive in others. So I would be happy, very much so, to do a heart reading for you, beautiful Jenna. So just telling you what I do, I don't access any private information about you. I only want to feel how you're feeling, and I'm not going to share any personal or private information about you or your identity or where you are, because I don't know that information. All I know when I do a heart reading is how someone feels right now, the emotional climate that they've been in, and some of the past wounding and how that is interfering with your perception of yourself and reality right now. So I'm going to feel in, beautiful Jenna, and confirm that you are an empath, and confirm that that's why sometimes you get overwhelmed and your mind spins and you feel unsafe and destabilized. So when you're talking about the overwhelm, that is, a really, for you, you're displaced and not connected to your own truth, beautiful one. So you are absolutely an empath. And one of the elements of our empath hearts is fire. And what happens with our fire is it gets excited, it gets overwhelmed, it starts moving into too many places at once. And this leads us to feel dizzy and overwhelmed and think too fast. So a heart reading. What else do I feel to share with you, Jenna? Okay, so I just want to confirm that you have really loving intentions to help other people feel cared for and important. One of the big challenges is that you are more reassuring and comforting to other people than you are to yourself, precious heart. And this is obviously, one of the places that we get to when we're really claiming our power as an empath is that you can emotionally influence and lead other people around you, and you can touch them and lighten their hearts and help them to feel at ease. And you do that, but you can also do that for yourself. And that's one of the things that I feel to really lovingly encourage you to do, that this beautiful care and devotion that you invest in others, I would love to encourage you just to invest it a little bit more in yourself. So if you say care and love up 3 people in a day, I want you to make sure that you take a moment to give that to yourself as well. So no more giving more to other people than what you're willing to give to yourself, because you are capable of creating more stability, more groundedness, and more of a sense of reassurance and ease in your own world than you're willing to believe. Does that feel? I hope that was what you were wanting, beautiful Gemma. If that was what you were wanting, I would love to hear how that felt and how you received that. Rajan, wonderful. With my love and blessings, beautiful heart. Rajan, if you would really like a heart reading, I'm more than happy to do that for you. Just comment if you're still here on the live. I can do a reading for you next. Just reading from Christelle, your videos always come at the right time. Feeling so unlovable today. I'm so glad that I can be here and we can be together in these moments, because it's so, so important to have somebody else who relates to this so that we don't feel completely strange and abnormal. And also, it's really, really important to be able to understand that feeling unlovable or worthless is just a byproduct of our gifts. So it's something that will always come up for us, but we can get better with how we respond to it, is my personal belief. So I'm really happy you're here, Christelle. So Rajan, I hope I'm pronouncing your name first. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to tell you a little bit about yourself. Okay, so you think very fast, very intelligent, and you really get a rush from connecting with people. You love making connections and being able to influence other people and kind of get reactions or responses. When you feel like other people recognize that you're there, that's something that's very important for you, and I want you to pay attention to that. One of the challenges from your past is that you didn't feel like you were noticed or recognized. Now, what happens is that when you've been in a situation where other people have had so much happening that they haven't been able to give you that time and attention to really pay attention to you, then what that means is that sometimes you can tend to feel not important to yourself. And so I'm very grateful to be here, to be offering you a heart reading at this time and confirm that you are an empath, confirm that you can feel the feelings of other people, but you've done something very interesting. I feel you're a male. I hope that you are. Rajan, men who are empaths who do something very, very different to women. And what they do is they cloak their heart. So what you've done is you've tried to close down your ability to feel what other people feel. And most importantly, you don't want anybody else feeling what you feel. So what this means is that you like not being understood by others. You like being confusing to other people. And it's kind of a little bit of justice served, eh? It's a little bit like, well, you didn't pay attention and you didn't show up when I needed you, so you're not going to get me now. And I just want to lovingly show up and just send you a big hug and let you know that by playing that game, Rajan, you're keeping yourself blocked out from who you are. Now, one of the things is that these strategies, they're defensive. It was protecting you once, but now it's keeping you from knowing who you really are. You're a very intelligent, noble man. You've got a very fast mind, and you're very, very quick. But one of the problems is that you don't have the best follow through, and you're not really good at staying with a project. Does this sound right? It's strange talking into a webcam and reading a wonderful man's heart, but I hope that you can feel my love for you. I hope that you can feel my respect for you and the defense strategy that you've put in place. And I hope that you can understand my loving encouragement to It's okay to block out other people, but I'd really like you to pay attention to yourself and how you're feeling, because you can be with yourself. You can pay attention to how you feel and help yourself feel more important. So, how you doing? Is there anything that's resonating from what I'm saying here? And I hope that those who are present on the live have benefited from the readings that I've been able to do. I hope to do a weekly reading here. I just really feel like I want to stop doing so many scripted videos, and I just want to show up and actually serve with whoever is actually here. Yeah, I understand. I understand feels confusing, Rajan. So is there any other specific question that you could ask me, and I could offer you some guidance if there is something you really want or an area where you'd really like to see improvement? I'd love to help you in that here and now before I leave for today. I'd love you to ask the question, though. I want you to show me where you'd like to see an improvement, your work or your relationships or money or your health or your happiness. If there's something that you'd particularly like to see an improvement in, one of my roles professionally is as a mentor, and I have an amazing ability to read people that allows me to give them very direct and personalized guidance so that they can see amazing change happen in their lives. So great, studies. Let's look at that together. So yeah, great. I can see what's happening there. So remember I spoke about how it's difficult for you to be patient. It's difficult for you to do the work now and get the reward later. Does that sound like, oh, hello, Kimberly. So nice to see you, beautiful one. It's lovely to see a few people join this live. So what's happening for you, Rajan, is that you have a good vision, okay? This is one of your strengths, is that you can see what you want to do afterwards. One of the things that you don't know how to do is you don't know how to really trust that this process of absorbing this information here and now will create that. You know it, you think it, but in your heart, you don't feel safe. It doesn't feel like it's going to land for you, because there could be other problems come up. It might not be ideal when you're actually in it. Is this making sense? Is this resonating for you, Rajan? And the reason why I'm pointing out that this is one of the challenges that you're facing in your studies is that it isn't about your studies. This is about your ability to feel like good things can happen for you, that you're worthy of success, that already you are a successful man, and that you are already intelligent and knowledgeable, and that your studies are just going to further articulate and develop that and put you in a context where you can be seen and recognized. See how I'm kind of referencing your studies back to the reading that I gave you before. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Is this making sense? So once again, I guess, Rajan, what's really interesting is I feel to go back with the guidance I was giving you before, that this protective mechanism that you've had around your heart, I want you to think about connecting more with yourself and even recognizing yourself now. So one of the things that you do is you wait until you succeed and other people congratulate you and recognize you until you feel good. And I want you to recognize and congratulate yourself for how far you've come now. Don't wait for other people to see what you're doing. Give that to yourself now. I have developed my spiritual gifts over the last 12 years to be able to read hearts. And for 9 years, I've been guiding people as a coach and as a mentor to be able to help them to make the small, when you do things a little bit differently, it creates a completely different outcome. And Rajan, for you, you're waiting for other people to recognize you, but it's really important that you recognize yourself. So I congratulate you for coming as far as you have with your studies, and I want you to recognize how well you've already done. Would you be willing to do that for me, Rajan? Either say it yourself in your mind, say it out loud, write it down, or comment and tell me. But I would love to invite you. Would you be willing to recognize how far you've already come and congratulate yourself on how well you're already doing? Giddy up. I would love to do a reading for you, Kimberly, beautiful. Wonderful. Let me feel in, beautiful one, and see what's happening for you. So I'm going to be looking at how you're feeling today, what's been happening around you lately, and what themes are really important for me to bring forward for you. Okay, so I just feel to tell you a little bit about yourself first, which is that you are an empath, beautiful Kimberly, but with that, you're also highly sensitive. So what that means is that you feel everything far more deeply than other people do. You're also sensitive to sound and light. Crowded places, big noises, and bright sunlight or bright lights are not good for you. You already know this. But when you're a highly sensitive empath, it also means you need to have particular considerations for your self-care. You can't expect too much from yourself. You can't have a loaded schedule. People like you need to take more pauses and breaks. You're not someone that needs more than 8 hours of sleep. You just need rest and pauses and not having a busy schedule. So how is this sounding for you so far, Kimberly? Before I proceed, I just want to make sure that you are okay with what I'm reading from you so far. Let's feel what else is happening while I wait for you to comment. Okay, great. Lovely. So one of the things that I feel you've been challenged with lately, beautiful one, is that you've really been challenged because you see things differently from others. And a few things come up. One thing comes up is you wonder whether you're wrong and whether you're perceiving something that's not true, which is not the case. You're very perceptive. You're seeing things correctly. The other thing you then want is that if you are seeing it correctly, you actually want other people to be able to see it the way you are, which is very frustrating and annoying when they don't. I relate. What's important is that we have this air of mercy, compassion, and grace, where we honor and acknowledge that what we perceive is true. And yet other people actually are entitled to their own perception and that they will have their own perception, but that doesn't negate the truth that you know. One of the things that really covers me, because I have perceived things differently than everyone else my whole life, and it feels very isolating, but one of the things that we struggle with the most is we doubt ourselves, and we find it hard to believe ourselves because other people don't corroborate it. They don't perceive it the same, and so we think we're wrong. We're not wrong. We're just here to play a different role. We are here to perceive a truth that very few people actually have access to, which is why I love working in this area and why I'm going to be devoted to beautiful, gentle, gifted hearts like you for the rest of my life because of the challenges I've faced. Now I'm turning 35 next week. I know that you feel wrong, so much so that you don't even act on your own guidance. Okay, so the challenge here is that your perception is affecting your ability to trust yourself because you're waiting for other people to agree. Similar with Rajan, if you were listening to my reading with him, once again, we give more weight and credibility to other people's perceptions than our own. It's just because we're waiting for someone to tell us we're right. Kimberly, you are right. And I'm just beaming you a big hug because you're right, babe. But one of the things that it's going to be important for you to develop is, when am I right and meant to share, and when am I right and meant to be quiet? And there's a feeling that you get when you're really connected with that truth. And the way that I think of it is that I just surrender to what I know in my belly. So there's things that I know I'm meant to say, and there's things that I know I'm meant to be quiet about. I actually don't get a choice around that, but I find it incredibly comforting just to pay attention to the feeling. Do you know this feeling I speak of? Do you know this feeling of, I know that, but I'm meant to share, or I know that and I'm not meant to share? Can you feel the difference within yourself? Gosh, this is fun. I don't know why I've been so nervous about doing a live for so long. And I do lives in my secret support group. So if you are an empath and you're wanting a supportive place to be able to come, send me a friend request. I'll put the details in a link. Yeah, babe, I knew you would know, but I knew you knew, but I needed to hear that you logically know that you know. Does that make sense? What I want you to do is surrender to that knowing. Stop giving yourself the ability to have an opinion on it. I stopped that a few years ago. I'm like, Lysa, you don't get to have an opinion. Things go well when you trust. When you trust that you speak up when you're called to, and you don't speak up when you're not invited to, that's when things tend to roll a bit smoother. So, beautiful one, I really hope that this can support you to know the right. It's so comforting. It's like, you're right, Kimberly. You're right. You're amazing. And just do what you feel called to. Just surrender to that knowing, and things are gonna become more smooth for you, beautiful. They've been a bit jaggedy and a little bit abrupt, and we're talking delicately, okay? Yay! Happy Lysa. I'm so happy here doing these readings. Gosh, does anyone else want one more reading before I leave for the day? It's really, really nice to connect with other people. I want to be really transparent and honest that if I don't read people's hearts and serve, I am miserable and I get myself all tied up in a knot. Okay, one of the realities of being who I am is that I'm here to serve, and I'm actually here to bless other people who have similar gifts to me, who are similar to me, to make life easier for them. Now, if I don't do things like this and show up on YouTube and do a live and serve and support others, I actually don't feel like I want to be here. So I want to be transparent and honest with you that I love, love, love serving and supporting other people who are like this. Did you know that I've been doing this for so long? I've written 2 books specifically for gentle gifted hearts, and I feel to advocate for them and encourage you to read them. In particular, Heart Healing. Rajan, this would be a wonderful book if you're still here. Jenna, this would be an amazing book for you. Kimberly, you would be better with my second one, which is called Divine Purpose. It's a little bit more about supporting ourselves to really deepen into the truth of who we are, whereas Heart Healing is more about understanding the emotionality of being an empath and how it influences our lives in regards to romance and parenting, attracting love, and finding the safety in being who we are. So if you need those things, I'll put the link in the description for this video, and I want to encourage you. It's like $5 or $7 US to get the Kindle version. You can get a hard copy. I think they're $15, $16 US, and you can get them delivered anywhere in the world. I published them both last year, and they are still the books that I refer my current mentoring clients to. So I would really, really love to encourage you that the years that it's taken me to be able to develop my gifts and put myself in a good place and heal my own heart, I want to pass that information onward because it allows us to be more effective. It allows us to actually fulfill our function in the world, and I think that's why we're here. Cool. Someone's asking me, I can't see your name, but am I in favor of open borders and multiculturalism? Absolutely. I did my degree in world politics, and I serve clients from all over the world from many different religious and socioeconomic backgrounds. I can serve anyone who's an empath because the truth is that we really all are on the planet together. And what I know as an empath is that no matter what country or what religion or what belief system you grew up in, your heart wounds will be very similar to mine. And that is what has actually brought great healing for me, was that people from completely different countries and backgrounds still felt worthless like me. Okay, they still struggled to find lovability. They struggled to attract true love. They struggled to stay away from narcissists like me. And so I truly believe that honoring and acknowledging our role as an empath allows us to heal our hearts on a global level. And I really do know that we have different contexts, different circumstances, and different situations, but we have all hurt in the same way. And I think that's unifying to acknowledge, because if we can acknowledge and witness one another's hurt, it allows us to set aside some of the circumstances that we're in. So I fully acknowledge and support your position to disagree with that. I love allowing everyone to have a perspective on what they want. You asked for my perspective, and I'm sharing it, and I stand on it, and I totally support you with whatever you feel is your opinion. What a beautiful way to spend a Tuesday. I'm really, really happy. I'm going to set up a time, and I'm going to do live heart readings again next week. And I will let you all know what time I'm going to be doing that. I don't know how I'm going to set that up yet, but I know that I will. I'll set up a time, and I'll be here for half an hour next week to do live readings. So if you want to come on next week and have me read your heart and tell you more about who you are, what's showing up, and how you can make small changes that will totally change your life, bring you more happiness, more ease, more prosperity and flow, that's what I do. So if you are curious to find out about working with me, visit lysablack.com, LYSABLACK. And if you're looking for a mentor, If you're looking for someone who is an empath that can guide you personally or professionally in your work or your business, somebody that can help you understand yourself more, I have 2 places opening in May. So I'm really, really happy to be opening my heart to some new people that are looking for a loving, supportive mentor who will guide them to honor their truth in their heart so that they can heal the past, improve their relationship with themselves so that they can really prosper with ease. My love and blessings to you all. Thank you so much for being here today. I have loved it. I will put the links to the description for my books, and totally want to encourage you, if you're an empath, if you can feel what other people feel, this book, it will change your life, change your perception of yourself, and help you to understand what you're here to do. And the more we know that, the better every day will get of your life. I send so much love out to you all. Beautiful day, beautiful hearts. Mwah.